I dropped Maya at my father's house at 4 o'clock, 2 hours before her dance recital. Remember, Grandpa's picking you up at 5:30, I said, adjusting the garment bag that held her costume. Don't take it out until you're at the theater. I know, Mom. Maya was 11, responsible beyond her years. I'll be careful. My father opened the door, his wife Brenda right behind him. There's our little dancer, he said, hugging Maya. Ready for the big show? So ready. I have a solo this year. A solo. Brenda's voice was bright, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. How nice. Amanda's in the chorus, of course. But that's fine. Not everyone can be the star. Amanda was Brenda's daughter, also 11, also in the same dance company, also wearing a costume that cost half as much as Maya's because she had a smaller role. I have to run to a work thing, I said, checking my phone. Emergency client meeting. Dad, you'll make sure she gets there on time? Of course. Go handle your business. I kissed Maya's forehead and left, my stomach already tight with anxiety. I'd had a bad feeling all week about leaving Maya alone with Brenda. There had been too many accidents lately. Maya's science project falling off the counter and breaking, her new jacket somehow ending up in the washing machine with bleach, her birthday cake mysteriously knocked to the floor before the party started. But I had a meeting I couldn't miss. Or at least, that's what I told my father. The client meeting was real, but not urgent. What was urgent was the appointment I'd made for 3 o'clock with First National Bank's mortgage department. I've been paying my father's mortgage for 5 years. Every month, $2,800 transferred automatically from my account to his. He thought I didn't know that he'd never recovered from his construction company going bankrupt. I knew everything. I'd been the one keeping him afloat while he pretended to be financially stable. Brenda had no idea. She thought they were comfortable. She'd married my father 3 years ago, believing he was a successful contractor who owned his home outright. The truth was far different. The house was mortgaged to the limit. His credit was destroyed, and without my monthly payments, they would have lost everything years ago. I sat in the bank manager's office and explained what I needed. I want to stop the automatic payments to David Morrison's mortgage account, effective immediately. The manager, a woman named Sandra, pulled up the account. You've been making these payments for 63 months. That's $176,400. Plus property taxes and homeowner's insurance, another $15,000. May I ask why you're stopping now? Because he forgot what I was doing for him. Because his wife has been systematically cruel to my daughter. Because I'm done being taken for granted. Sandra nodded slowly. The account will show a missed payment in 30 days. After 90 days of non-payment, the foreclosure process begins. I understand. Ms. Morrison, this will destroy his credit. He'll lose the house. I know. She processed the paperwork. I signed everything. The automatic payments would stop. My father would receive no warning, no grace period, no chance to fix it before the consequences began. I left the bank at 4:15 and drove back toward my father's house, arriving at 4:45. Maya's recital started at 6. We needed to be at the theater by 5:30 for costume and makeup prep. When I walked in, I heard crying. Maya was in the living room, her costume spread across the coffee table. Royal blue velvet, hand-beaded with crystals, custom made for her solo. It had cost $385. Now it was covered in streaks of red acrylic paint. What happened? I kept my voice level, though my hands wanted to shake. It was an accident, Brenda said from the kitchen doorway. She was holding a paint can and brush. I was touching up the trim in the hallway. Maya's garment bag was hanging on the doorknob. The can tipped over. The can tipped over onto a costume hanging inside a closed garment bag. The bag was partially open. These things happen. Brenda shrugged. Really? You should have bought 2 costumes. That's what responsible parents do. Have a backup for emergencies. My father sat on the couch, watching television. He glanced over, saw the situation, and laughed. Actually laughed. She's got a point, sweetheart. Always good to have a spare. Maya looked at me with devastated eyes. This was her first solo. She practiced for months. The recital started in 75 minutes, and there was no replacement costume, no time to find one, no way to fix this. Come on, Maya. Get your things. But the recital. I'll handle it. Let's go. In the car, Maya cried silently. I drove her to the dance studio, explained to the director what happened, and watched her get reassigned to the chorus with a generic costume. Her solo went to Amanda, Brenda's daughter, who wore her cheaper costume, and performed Maya's routine adequately, but without the heart Maya would have brought to it. I sat in the audience and made decisions. The first missed mortgage payment hit my father's account 30 days later. He called me, confused. "Something's wrong with the bank," he said. "They're saying my mortgage payment wasn't received." "Did you check your account?" "Yeah, the money just isn't there. Must be a bank error. I'm calling them tomorrow." "Good idea." He called back the next day, panic in his voice. "They're saying the automatic payment that usually comes through didn't process. Something about the originating account stopping the transfer. Do you know anything about that?" "Should I?" Silence. "Claire, that money comes from you. For 5 years, Dad. Every month. $2,800. Plus your property taxes. Plus your homeowner's insurance. You really didn't know?" More silence. I thought I was managing okay. The accounts always balanced out. "They balanced because I was filling the gaps. Your construction business hasn't made enough to cover your mortgage since 2019. You've been living on my support." "Why didn't you tell me?" "You never asked where the money was coming from. You just accepted it. Easier than admitting you needed help." "Claire, I need you to restart those payments. Please, I can't lose the house." "You should have thought about that before you laughed when Brenda ruined Maya's costume." "That was just a costume. This is my house." And Maya's solo was just her dance recital. But it mattered to her. You chose to laugh instead of defend her. "Now I'm choosing to stop paying your bills." "You can't do this. Brenda doesn't know about the payments. If she finds out, if we lose the house, then I guess you'll have a lot of explaining to do." I hung up. The second missed payment hit at day 60. My father called 6 times. I didn't answer. He showed up at my apartment. I didn't open the door. At day 90, the foreclosure notice arrived. My father called from Brenda's phone. She was screaming in the background. "You've been paying our mortgage? For 5 years? You've been lying to me about money?" I could hear my father trying to explain, his voice desperate and defensive. "Claire." Brenda grabbed the phone. "You have to fix this. Tell the bank it was a mistake." "It wasn't a mistake. You're going to let us lose our house over a dance costume?" "No, I'm letting you lose the house you never actually paid for because you destroyed my daughter's costume and my father laughed about it. There's a difference." "David, tell her she's being ridiculous." My father got back on the phone. "Claire, please. We have nowhere to go. My credit's destroyed. I can't get another mortgage. We can't even rent anything decent with my income." "You should have bought 2 houses," I said calmly. "That's what responsible adults do. Have a backup for emergencies." I hung up again. My father's mother called next, my grandmother, trying to mediate. "Claire, honey, I know Brenda was wrong about the costume, but losing their house seems extreme." "Grandma, I've paid $191,400 for the house over 5 years. They never thanked me, never acknowledged it, never once defended Maya when Brenda was cruel. He just took my money and let his wife treat my daughter like garbage. He's your father. And Maya's his granddaughter. He made his choice." The house went to foreclosure auction at day 140. It sold for $365,000, below market value because foreclosure sales always are. My father lost all his equity. The moving trucks came on day 173. They moved into a 2-bedroom apartment in a complex near the highway, from a 1,500 square foot house with a yard to an apartment smaller than my living room. Brenda's daughter Amanda had to switch schools. They sold furniture that wouldn't fit, downsized their cars because they couldn't afford the payments. I heard all this through my grandmother, who was disappointed in me but still called with updates. "Brenda's furious," Grandma said. "She's saying you destroyed their lives over nothing." "Over nothing," I repeated. Maya's costume cost $385. Gad's house cost him nothing because I was paying for it. I destroyed nothing. I just stopped building something he didn't appreciate. 6 months after they moved out, my father requested to meet me for coffee. I agreed, curious about what he'd say. He looked older, tired. The stress of the past months had carved lines into his face. "I'm sorry," he said immediately, "for laughing, for not standing up to Brenda, for taking your help without acknowledging it." Okay, that's it. What do you want me to say, Dad? That I forgive you? That I'll start paying your bills again?" I want to explain. Brenda didn't know about my financial situation when we got married. I was embarrassed. I kept up appearances. When your payments started coming through, I didn't question it. I convinced myself I deserved it somehow. That you were doing well and wanted to help. I did want to help, past tense. Because of one incident with Maya? No. Because of 3 years of incidents with Maya. The science project. The jacket. The birthday cake. The costume was just the last one, the one where you laughed instead of defending your granddaughter. I made a mistake. You made a choice. You chose Brenda's ego over Maya's feelings. You chose to take my financial support while dismissing my daughter's pain. Those were choices, not mistakes. He stared into his coffee. Brenda and I are separating. She can't get past the money thing. Can't forgive me for the lies. Her family won't help us financially because they feel I deceived her. I'm sorry your marriage is ending. Are you? I'm sorry you're hurting. I'm not sorry about the consequences. What about Maya? She's asking about me. Wants to know why we don't see each other. I told her the truth, that Grandpa let Brenda hurt her, and that taught Grandpa a lesson about taking people for granted. She's 11. That's too much for an 11-year-old. She's 11, and she needed to know that people who love you should protect you, not laugh when you're hurt. Better she learns that now. My father left the coffee shop without finishing his drink. I sat there for another 20 minutes, thinking about choices and consequences. A week later, Maya asked if we could drive past Grandpa's old house. Why? I asked. I want to see where they lived, where we used to visit. We drove past. A new family had moved in. There were bikes in the driveway, a swing set going up in the backyard, children's laughter coming from inside. Do you miss going there? I asked Maya. I miss Grandpa, but I don't miss how small I felt there. How Brenda always made me feel like I was less than Amanda. She looked at me. Did you really pay for their house? For 5 years. And Grandpa didn't know. He chose not to know. There's a difference. Why did you stop? Because watching Brenda ruin your costume and hearing Grandpa laugh taught me something. It taught me that helping people who don't appreciate it only enables them to hurt you more. Maya was quiet for a moment. I got my solo back, for the spring recital. Miss Jennifer said I deserved it. That's wonderful, baby. Will Grandpa come watch? I don't know. Do you want him to? Only if he promises not to laugh if something goes wrong. That's a reasonable boundary. My father did ask to come to the spring recital. I said yes, but with conditions. He could attend, but he'd sit separately from us. He could congratulate Maya afterward, but Brenda was not invited. He agreed. Maya performed her solo beautifully. My father cried during it. Afterward, he hugged her and told her he was proud. I'm sorry about your costume, he said quietly. The one Brenda ruined. I should have said something. I should have done something. It's okay, Grandpa. Mom says we teach people how to treat us. He looked at me over Maya's head. Yes, we do. We didn't reconcile. Not fully. But we found a careful peace, built on clear boundaries and hard-learned lessons. My father rented a small apartment, worked to rebuild his credit, and started being honest about his limitations. Brenda moved back to her hometown with Amanda. The divorce was quiet and quick. Sometimes my father asked if I missed the relationship we used to have before the costume, before the foreclosure, before everything changed. I told him the truth. I didn't miss being taken for granted. I didn't miss watching my daughter be treated as less than. I didn't miss being generous to people who mistook my kindness for weakness. What I'd lost was the illusion that my father would always choose family over pride. What I'd gained was the certainty that I would always choose my daughter over obligation. 5 years of mortgage payments bought me that knowledge. In the end, it was worth every penny.